I think the first question a lot of people at home are going to be asking themselves is this still a story? Should we still be talking about this?
Absolutely. I mean, you know, going through the process at the beginning, I didn't want to talk or think too much about, you're the first person to do this in your sport, you know, as a coach. But I think that still tells the story. The fears and the realities of coming out are still very real.
On the court, Chris Burns is a lifeline to his players.
The best thing about him as a coach, he has a great relationship with all of his players, so it's a really easy guy to play for.
For me, he was a guy that I can come to when, you know, I was going through my ups and downs, whether it was on the court or off the court.
But through all his success, from the days he wore out his mother's rug, shooting hoops in the basement, to the most outstanding player award he earned as a Bulldog in Bryant's only appearance in a national title game. Burns has been defenseless to the homophobic slurs that fill the air in sports.
The way people use it to kind of, you know, undermine and undercut, you know, almost your ability to do what you do.
How many more people are hiding than maybe most people would guess there are?
A lot more. They're out there, you know, and I have gotten reach out from those people who are out there, and I know people who are out there, you know, so they're everywhere.
Never had a coach in a major sport come out as openly gay. Not in NCAA men's basketball or football, the NFL, the NBA, MLB, or NHL. On October 7th, Burns changed that, opening the door as the first and so far only coach to come out.
I was surprised he was the first.
Head coach Tim O'Shea had no problem with it, only concern for Burns' future. What were some of those legitimate concerns that he had?
You know, it has a chance to affect you getting hired in your next job, and there's no question about it. It's very, just like we're talking about, there's a reason why I'm the only one.
For Burns, coming out was a responsibility he had to own.
People tell me, you know, no matter what you think happened that day, you've saved lives, and that's really what it's about.
In your coming out letter, you write, quote, "The more I achieved and excelled at my sport, the further I felt for myself." That said, it must have been somewhat scary for you when you came out to the team.
Yeah, I mean, that was really the last part of the process, and certainly the scariest. Am I going to be exiled, ostracized? Are they not going to want to be around me? Are the relationships I thought I had that were so strong, are those not really real?
Part of his fear was believing the players didn't have any idea he was gay. And when he did reveal his secret to them, that part was true.
I'm a gay man, and that was just, you know, I think everyone was kind of taken aback when he first said it. He kind of was like, hey, I hope you guys, like, can still be around me and stuff.
For the first maybe 10 seconds, I was shocked, but after that, it was just kind of, okay, I'm glad you had the strength to tell us, but, you know, I'm going to still treat you how I treat you.
The most interesting reaction is there's been almost no reaction.
That included on campus, where head coach Tim O'Shea says the buzz about Burns died down after just a couple of days. But the team wasn't as sure what to expect on the road. Did you face any adversity this season away from here?
No, I did not. It was incredible.
Seniors Shane McLaughlin and Curtis Oakley Jr. were on the court this season at combined 1,600 minutes. Was there any trash talk involving Chris?
Everybody here knows, I'm going to be honest, everybody here knows that I talk a lot on the court. Nobody ever retaliated or said anything negative about Chris Burns.
Instead, opposing coaches and players stopped Burns to share their support.
We beat a really good team today.
Including a very special call he received before the season from the winningest head coach of all time, Duke's Mike Krzyzewski. What did he tell you on the phone, and what did that mean to you?
Basically, it was, you know, I just want you to know that I support you, and I'm proud of you for doing this. I think it's important what you're doing, and I think you're going to help change a lot of lives. For him to call and say that he didn't have to do that. So that meant a lot for sure.
We've talked about how Jason Collins has come out in the NBA, Michael Sam, another trailblazer, and now yourself. But not many people have really followed that lead. Why do you think that is?
Some people don't feel like they need to do it. They feel like this is, you know, this separate from what they do, and they can keep those things separate. That concern over, you know, how high you can go, the level you can achieve is always going to stop people.
When it comes to coming out as a college coach, location and the type of school make a big difference as well. Burns knows he was lucky to be at Bryant.
There are certain schools that have a strong religious affiliation in the South and certain parts of the country where something like this probably would not be well accepted. I don't think it's possible everywhere in the country yet.
Burns is the only coach out right now in major sports, but he's learned he's just one of many gay college basketball coaches out there. Without naming names, have you had any other coaches who have not come out reach out to you?
Yeah. And I know plenty that are out there, whatever realm they may be in, whatever sport they may be in. The other guys that are out there, they're basketball guys, and they're great at what they do. I mean, they're at high levels of this sport.
And it's a movement begging for a headliner. Do you think that there's a mentality that it's going to take a superstar to really push some serious change?
Yeah, I think that's a part of it. That person that's at the highest level, that's, big-time professional guy or a high-level college coach or high-level college player, it certainly makes a bigger difference. People are going to look and say, oh, crap, like, if this guy's doing this, then anyone can do it.
Inspiration that for some could be just enough to keep going.
I pondered it. Is suicide an option? Is that something you really need to think about? And I never really got myself to that place, but other people do. You get people in their 60s and 70s that are just telling you how much of an inspiration you are, and 14, 15-year-olds that are like, thank you for doing this. This is helping me understand that I can still play my sport.
Chris Burns may be chapter one in a much longer story of accepting gay coaches in sports, but at Bryant, his family has already turned the page. Chris Burns is just one of them. Is it a point of pride for you to have been able to say you played for the first openly gay coach?
I mean, honestly, it's a bigger point of pride just to say I played for Coach Burns.